And now we will start the game for real here. So, this is the recording and also the rules explanation here at Spiel.Digital, so very excited to have you all join today. This is the game of rescuing Robin Hood. And so, unfortunately, Robin Hood has been captured by the evil sheriff of Nottingham up here and is held in Nottingham Castle. And to make matters even worse, the sheriff of Nottingham has been capturing various villagers who have been taxed into ruin and unable to pay their taxes. And so our job is to band together and rescue these villagers. Robin Hood is going to be executed in 5 days, and so we have 4 days to rescue these villagers here, and then we build up our band and storm the castle to rescue Robin Hood. So what that looks like is that each time you get rid of a pile here, so let's say we get rid of this pile of 3 cards here, then the characters that are guarded there get to be rescued. They'll be placed in a rescued pile over here, and then they can be recruited and then added into your decks over there. So that's kind of the way that you rescue people, is by getting rid of the bad cards here. The same applies over here. You have to get rid of Nottingham Castle and these 2 piles here in order to rescue Robin Hood. You can win the game by rescuing Robin Hood, and then the bonus way of kind of extra win, if you will, kind of the extra bonus quest, is to also defeat the Sheriff of Nottingham. So that is kind of the way, and then if you don't rescue Robin Hood, you lose the game. So that's the kind of way that you win. So all right, win and lose is that. So the way that you, the turn order, first what you do is you draw 4 cards every turn. You look at your stats that you have here in these cards. You collect the stats down here, and then each person will attack twice to these piles, and then the first player will attack twice, then the second player will attack twice, and then the third player attack twice, and it'll go in clockwise order there. So as we look, and then after that we can attack using these things over here, and then you will recruit from the people who have been rescued, and so that's kind of the basic turn order there. So let's dig into that a little bit more. If we look at, so the way that you collect stats and decide and how much you have here, the one up here, blue, is wit. So you would total up 1, 3, and 2, and so that's how you get the 6 wit right here. Likewise, you also have 3 plus 2 plus 2, and so that would be 7 there. So you just total up those, the yellow one, and you've got to watch out for these negatives too. This character, Tib for Tat, is not actually a very happy character, and so he gives you -1 jolliness, unfortunately. Happens to the best of us sometimes. We have the other thing that you want to watch out for is the tokens here. You'll also collect those. So you have this scouting here, and then this one is scouting, so that's 3 scouting. Looks like I need to collect 1 more scouting token, so I'll just grab that. So now I have 3. I seem to be grabbing it into my hand. Then we also have, so you get the benefits from these 4 cards. You also get the benefits from this character here. So if you're playing Friar Tuck, you actually always gain these 2 prayer tokens here each turn. That's very useful. Then the next thing that you get to do, if we look at that, so that's how you gain the stats, but how do you actually use these? So we jump into this over here. So again, the attacks are wit, stealth, and brawn. And so what you do there is you use 2 of them each turn, and you can't use the same one twice. So you could attack with wit and stealth, or stealth and brawn, but you can't attack with brawn twice, for instance. So those are your attacks, and then jolliness, its advantage. So these ones here, like jolliness, has to be played on your turn, and it adds +1 to any of your stats here. Scouting, cookery, and prayer can be played on anyone's turn. So someone could decide, okay, I'm going to use scouting to go ahead and reveal some cards. So like the advantage of this one is you can reveal cards to see what they are. And so that's something that you could do on another person's turn. So let's dig into this a bit more to see if I were to play as Ellen Adele right now. I have the wit that's here. So I'm thinking of attacking with wit because I look at my stats. I see I can only attack with 2, and my brawn is very low, so I'm probably not going to attack with that. So the first thing I'll probably do is I will raise my wit up 3, so that I'm at 9 wit. Now, wit works like what you do is you reveal a card 1 at a time from the deck and start at the front. Stealth, you can attack any cards in the pile, but you have to reveal them simultaneously, and then you either win or lose. And then brawn, you have to attack the entire pile simultaneously. So that's kind of a disadvantage, but the advantage of it is that any leftover brawn is passed on to the next player if you attack or if you don't attack. Jolliness, leftover jolliness, is also always passed on to the next player there. So let's walk through an attack with wit. So we know now I have 9 wit, and then I'm going to look for a character that has low wit. So I could attack over here with this character with 5, but I think really the better choice is to go up here to attack this one with 1 here. So we're going to flip. I know I can beat this one with 1. The range of these characters are from 1 to 6, and the average is 3. So what I'll do is I know that I can beat this because I have 9 already. I win ties, so I'm going to flip this one here. So 4. Okay, so that's interesting now. So we have 4 plus 1. So we have 4 left over of the 9 wit that we already have. So on a 5 or 6, if I flip this, I will lose, and all of these cards will remain face up. So the most conservative option would just be to remove these 2 cards and say, okay, we're done right now. But I am feeling pretty lucky here, and also, like, on average, I'm pretty good because the average is 3, so I think it's a pretty good choice. I'm going to keep on going for 1 more here. So I flip. Aha! It's a 3. So we've got 3 plus 4 plus 1. I can continue 1 more if I'd like, because on a 1 I'll still win. But I think that's a foolish choice, so we're not going to do that, because I would lose on a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So pretty bad odds there. So I remove those cards. I take them over there. And then one rule is that the last card of a pile is always flipped up. So in this case, now this is the last card of a pile. So then I will flip this one. Aha! Looks like I made a good choice there. That was a 6, so very strong there. So I'm quite pleased with that decision. So then I've removed those 3 cards there. And then we will also have the next attack I'm going to try and use actually will be stealth. Stealth, again, I can attack anything in the entire pile. So if I look at this here, I could look at, okay, I've got this one, I could attack this one or that one, but I have no idea whether this card is better to attack or that card. So this is where scouting is very useful. So scouting allows you to reveal 2 cards of any of the sheriff's men in a pile. So I am going to actually go ahead and play 2 scouting, which will allow me to reveal 4 cards. So we'll go ahead and do that now and see how that works. And I'm going to reveal these back 4 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's good information there. I've got this 3 I could take out, that 3, that 1. I probably wouldn't want to go after this 4 because it's high on stealth. So I'm thinking I'd go for this one, that one, that one, and that one, if I can. And I've got 7 right here. So I think what I'll do is I'll use another jolliness to boost my stealth to 8. And then I will attack, or I'll take out this one, that one, this one, and then the next one here. And there we go. And then again, the end of the pile one is flipped, so that's the setup there. So that's kind of the things we've got there. So again, brawn, so at this point my attacks are done. So my turn would go on to Friar Tuck. and then this brawn would be passed on to the next player. Brawn and jolliness are the only two that get passed on to the next player. Stealth and wit do not. So I would be, then he would go from 5 to 6. Just to review brawn again. Brawn, you have to attack the entire pile in one fell swoop here. So that's what something you've got to do with brawn. So you got to keep. Oftentimes it works best if you kind of save up for quite a bit of brawn before attacking, or just going for a weaker pile too. So that's kind of the trick with brawn there. So we've covered scouting there, and then let's talk a little bit more about the other ones that you can use, these tokens. So we've got cookery, which allows you to add +2 wit, brawn, or stealth, or you can also gain. So that's the normal way to do it. The other thing you can do is you can spend 1 cookery. This is a little bit of an error on the card there. You can spend 1 cookery to gain this brewing token, right, or this beer token here. And normally all tokens and all stats go away at the end of the turn. But the one exception is that this one can carry over from one round to the next, and can even be used on the final battle. So if you want, you can kind of hoard up your, use all your cooking to get beer tokens. So it's a possibility there. Prayer allows you to shift a card from any position in any pile. So if I want to, I can shift this card here to the very front of this pile here. And then because it's the very firstmost card, it'll actually be revealed. So it's kind of a useful thing to do. The other thing you can do is you can spend 2 prayer to remove a card. So that's quite useful too. You can also spend 2 prayer together with another person. So let's say Friar Tuck has a prayer and also Maud Lindsay has a prayer. You both can use a prayer to kind of go forward and to remove a card. So that's kind of the key there. So those are the key ways that you kind of rescue people and go ahead and attack there. Any questions on that before I talk about the round and setup?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay, sounds good. So what you'll do at the end of this turn, you will then, let's say you've rescued these characters here. Then each of you will go ahead and we'll have Alan Dale. So the first player, in this case Alan Dale, will draw first from the cards that have been rescued. Then Friar Tuck will draw a card, and each of them will put them in the discard pile here. And then Maud Lindsay will also draw a card too. And then it'll go back to Alan Dale and kind of in a circle there until everything is gone. You can also decide to pass the cards. If you pass on a card, if you know that a friend is looking for maybe a high wit card and you're not going for wit, you probably want to pass so that way they can have them. So it pays to specialize, kind of for each person to specialize a little bit in this one, or to specialize in 2 things, kind of thing. So it's quite useful that way. So then you will gain cards into your deck. Then you'll draw the next 4 cards, and then that's kind of the way that works there. At the end of round 2, you'll have a bunch of cards in your discard pile. Maybe, let's say, 11 cards. Then what you'll do is you'll discard down to 8 cards in total. So, and you'll put them in a communal discard pile over here called Sherwood Forest. With Sherwood Forest, so then once after you've done that, you'll have 8 cards in your deck, and then you'll shuffle them, and then draw 4 new cards. And then that will be your next round there. And then the other thing is on the 4th round, you will also have finished through your deck. But this time, you go through your entire deck and you choose your dream team of 4 cards to go and storm the castle. And then the rest of your cards are placed in Sherwood Forest. So you have a very powerful last hand to try and take on this entire large band and storm the castle. One thing I will mention here, so let's talk about storming the castle. With storming the castle, these red cards here are stronger than the blue ones. So this one you see has 9 wit, which is very powerful. They range, or 9 stealth I meant to say. So they range from 2 all the way to 9, and the average is 5. So that's kind of the way that you can remember that there. So 2 to 9, average is 5 there. The player who defeats this card here, Nottingham Castle, will actually get a bonus of jolliness from all the cards that have been placed in Sherwood Forest. So that person who defeats Nottingham Castle will get kind of a boost of encouragement from the other villagers. And you will get 1 jolliness for every 3 characters that have been rescued and are put in, or for every 3 characters in Sherwood Forest. So that's the and then sorry. So you attack this pile, this row here first, and then afterwards you can attack these 2 piles here. And then once you have defeated these 3 piles, then you have rescued Robin Hood. So you flip Robin Hood, and then his bonuses, the wit, brawn, stealth, and jolliness, are actually added directly to the player who has rescued him. And then you can go on and attack these piles right here. And if you do, then you will defeat the Sheriff of Nottingham. So it's kind of the key there. Yeah, so that's the key of that's the way that this game is played, and you kind of keep on going with that. The thing I'll mention too is that these setup cards is how we determine what is set up here. So if we look at this archery contest here, this one is says to put 1 of bronze squirrel strength and 1 of 1 villager of the boar silver strength. So that is here with the silver boar timber, and then the squirrel right there. So this is what we have here, and you'll draw each round. You'll draw new villagers to kind of add to this group over here. So that's kind of the. You can go from there, and then you'll just set it up like that. You'll do this for day 1, and then also the same setup for day 2, and then afterwards you'll look at this next card here. And then that will be your setup for day 3 and 4. So the villagers are a little bit stronger, and there's more bad guys that are rescued. If you decide to play other variants will sometimes have bonuses or different things that will go along with them. So this one has a little bit more cards that you have to defeat, but each band leader gains +3 stealth. So those are kind of the key things of the game. I believe that is all the rules of the game. What questions do people have about the game or about the rules?
Okay, maybe I can ask one.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it important from which direction I defeat the one that are in the middle? So these cards, I have the green hand, sorry.
Yeah, certainly. So if the direction is important for the wit one, so only the blue one does it matter that you have to start in the front and go toward the back. But with stealth, you can attack in any of the cards, and then brawn you have to attack the whole thing.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I think the questions come while playing.
No, that makes sense. One kind of fun note I'll just share is that a lot of these names come from historical kind of records, like the Domesday Book. So there's not a whole lot of people named Hildyard right now in England, but that's kind of but yeah, at that time there were a lot more. So, and then there are just a lot of various names around that we used, and then also we used various names. We have puns in there too, so like Oliver de Place, for instance, and other one, Aaliyah Better Listen. So it's kind of fun to have some puns in there, and then other names are like Roger Carter. So at that time, Carter was the last name for the profession of the person who's using a cart. So kind of a fun tip there. So with that, I think we just kick it off and start playing.